Hi friends, it's time for another minis challenge, the Fall, Thanksgiving, or Christmas edition. I chose Christmas. Links to the host, crafted by Corie, and the playlist will be in the description box. For this DIY, I'm using tumbling tower blocks, lightweight spackling, brown, white, and red paint, some holiday charms from Amazon. I'll have those linked in the description box. A cake decorating kit, wood glue, and wooden cookie shapes from DollarTree. So the gingerbread man. So for this one, I want to make a book stack, a gingerbread man book stack. I was inspired by something that I saw at Target, but I knew that since I have so many tower blocks, I can just make it at home. So what you would need is, I've used 18 tower blocks and I've already got them glued together. 3 sets of 6. So for my first one, I'm going to go ahead and apply real brown and then white and red. I'm going to use stamps on this little book stack. I have a North Pole postage stamp from Hobby Lobby, so I'm going to angle it so only the North Pole shows. And then I have alphabet letter stamps that I want to spell out bakery and shop. I started out doing letter by letter, but then I realized, why don't I just tape these? So I just used a bit of painter's tape and got all my letters together. So I would just have to go ahead and stamp down once and everything would be pretty much even. Then I'm using Gorilla Wood Glue and a little bit of hot glue for an immediate hold to get all my pieces together. And to start my embellishments, I have this pretty red and white ribbon from Hobby Lobby and Merry Christmas ribbon I found at Dollar Tree. I want to pair these up to wrap around the book stack. And to add bows to the top, I'm going to take this red and white wired ribbon and make a single loop, hot glue that together, and then cinch it in the middle and tie it off with a piece of the red and white twine. And I leave the tails long on that twine. And for that Merry Christmas ribbon, it only has an image on one side. So I use the awareness ribbon technique and I tie that off in the middle with a piece of twine as well. And then I lay the red ribbon on top of my two-tone ribbon and hot glue them together, leaving the red and white twine tails to hang down so it gives a peppermint look. So I want to add a small little faux whipped cream here with some little cookies in it. So I've got my Dollar Tree spackle, the cake kit, and some white paint. So I want it to be bright white. Okay, so this is like partially a fail because I've tried this particular decorating kit before from Dollar Tree and it didn't work. So I'm trying again, and I'm going to add white paint, and then I end up adding school glue as well. I could not get this mixture to come out of this tube. I squeezed and squeezed and I ended up ripping the bag, and finally I just gave up. I scooped it out and put it into a regular Ziploc bag, snipped the end, and that's what finally worked. I'm using half of a foam pumpkin as the base of my whipped topping. Once I finish with my whip, I add a bit of Aleene's tacky glue to the top of my book stack, and then carefully place my little whipped topping down, and then I add a few embellishments to the top. Once the foam top was completely dry, I added some Glitterific from Folk Art just so it would have a nice glistening glittery look. I was struggling for a bit there, but I think it came out really cute. Let me know, what do you think of my North Pole book stack? For this DIY, I have air dry clay, a mold from Dollar Tree. I believe it's supposed to be for ice cubes, and some red paint and a bit of extreme hologram glitter. So what I want to do is make some of these candy pieces out of clay to use them as accent and filler within my tier tray. I did leave these pieces to dry overnight. Depending on the thickness of your project, the air dry clay can take anywhere from 12 to 48 hours. And this is the Sculpey brand, and I purchased this at Walmart. And the final step is just to add some Glitterific so there's a beautiful shimmer, and when that dries, add Gloss Mod Podge. These turned out beautifully. I love the way these look. These will be such a sweet addition to my tier tray. I think I'm going to make more in different colors and also add a little hole, and these can be used as Christmas ornaments or hot glue to other DIY projects. For this DIY, I have a barn ornament from Family Dollar. Fashion Gems, twine, white paint, white puff paint, glitter, Mod Podge, and some flatback Christmas charms. So I'm going to go ahead and get this removed. So I use pliers to get the hanging piece pulled out, and then I use white apple barrel matte paint to frost the top of the barn. All of the little gingerbread barns that I saw at like Walmart and Marshall's were just so adorable, and they all had these beautifully frosted roofs and the windows and doors to the barn. So that's what I want to mimic, and I'm using this 3D paint so it gives like a raised frosting effect, and then go around all of the windows and doors with the white as well. Once the puff paint frosting was dry, I used the red and white twine so I could get a peppermint look. Initially, I used the hot glue, but then I ended up removing it and using Aleene's tacky glue since that dries clear and it has a less chunky appearance. Once the twine was finished, I used some of the little gemstone stickers and the little pearls so it looks like candy and bits of frosting on the roof. So with all of my faux candy embellishments on the roof added, I have a couple of these little pieces from Amazon that I want to add, a little tiny Merry Christmas wreath and a snowman. So I just add a bit of Aleene's tacky glue and get those attached. And then I add just a bit of Glitterific to the white frosted parts. And that was it for this little gingerbread barn. For this DIY, I'm using DollarTree vinyl, some Amazon pieces, wooden gingerbread, and a candle, all from DollarTree. So I wasn't really satisfied with the smell of this candle, but I like the color and the shape of the jar. So I'm going to get this traced out on a piece of cardboard so I can add a faux whip to the top of this and some little gingerbread and candy accents. Okay, so I'm just gonna trace out my gingerbread guy and just cut it out from this vinyl paper. I actually just bought a Cricut Joy like 2 weeks ago, and I still have not unboxed it. With my vinyl gingerbread cutout, I take one of the 3 packs of the foam balls from Dollar Tree's floral section, and I'm going to slice this in half. This is going to be the base for my whipped topping, and I'm going to hot glue this to a piece of cardboard that I had already traced out for the top of the candle jar. And once that's set, I'm going to take that same whip mixture that I made with that spackling and just swirl that all the way around my piece of foam. And then I start adding my embellishments to my whipped topping using some pieces from my little Amazon bundle. And I will have that linked in the description box. It's pretty much like a grab bag. no bag is the same, so it's, you know, whatever you get just different little holiday pieces. So here I'm just adding my vinyl gingerbread man to my candle jar, and I want to add some ribbon after I push my little gingerbread down into my whipped topping. Some of this pretty Merry Christmas ribbon, I found this at Dollar Tree, although it's the Offray brand, which I have found at Walmart previously. And I get this hot glued and I add a little bow, and then I decide to add the red and white twine on top of that just for a little added peppermint effect. With the topper glued down, I decided to take one more piece from that grab bag and I slice this candy cane up so I get little like bits, like candy cane chunks, and just glue those on with a bit of tacky glue just to add just a little more whimsy and cutesy to this topping. And of course, I'm gonna add my glitterific so I get a nice glistening sparkle that looks just so yummy on this faux whip. And here it is, all complete. So yummy, so cute. Let me know, what do you think of this piece? For this DIY, I'm using tumbling tower blocks, Dollar Tree adhesive stencils, folk art adhesive stencils, my glitterific paint, white puff paint, bright red, and a nutmeg brown from Apple Barrel. So you're gonna need 7 tumbling tower blocks glued together vertically. I've already got mine assembled here. So I'm gonna make a double-sided sign for my tier tray. So it sits up like that and I can just flip it either way. So I'm gonna start with my nutmeg brown. And once my paint dried on both sides, I just used my Dollar Tree adhesive stencils to spell out Noel, and just used white matte Apple Barrel paint to fill in the letters. And once I get my stencil removed, I want to add a bit of tacky glue around the edge and rickrack ribbon that I found at Hobby Lobby just to give that frosted effect around the sign so it looks more like a gingerbread cookie. And for my red side, I'm using my folk art stencils to spell out joy. This stencil has the look of like that Ray Dunn font, and I use that same white paint. And once I get my stencils pulled up, I'm using red and white twine from Dollar Tree that looks like peppermint just to give a really cute border around this sign. And here's my sign complete. I did add a bit of that glitterific on the Noel side just so it can have a bit of shimmer like the rest of my gingerbread and sweet pieces. And for my joy side, I simply added a bit of Mod Podge with the satin finish. And I think this turned out so adorable. I love double-sided pieces of decor. For this DIY, I have an old food tin, oysters, buttons from DollarTree, flag red paint, trees, vase filler, holiday ornaments, and a couple of gingerbread men. So I saw a gingerbread man in a little wagon, and immediately I said, well, that just looks like a fruit tin, like an oyster tin. I have that at home, so I can make that. I'm not gonna buy that. So I'm gonna go ahead, and I have this flag red from Apple Barrel. I'm gonna get this covered and sponged on, and then start adding items in my little wagon. And for the wheels, I'm using buttons from a jar of buttons I found at Dollar Tree, and just Gorilla Clear Grip glue for a long-lasting hold so that the wheels will be sturdy. So once my wheels were set, I added tacky glue into the bottom of my wagon and then added packing foam so I would have support for my gingerbread man and my little candy pieces that I'm going to start adding in after that. I took some polyfill and added that around all of my little pieces so it looked like snow. And here is the final result. I did add a few more pieces of candy just to fill out the wagon, and a piece of twine and a bead as the pole for the wagon. Let me know, what do you think of it? And here are all my items put together on a tier tray. I think they look absolutely adorable, very sweet, very festive. Let me know, what do you think of all of my tier tray items? Don't forget to check out the playlist. I'll have a link to Corey's channel and the playlist in the description box. If you're not already subscribed, please consider subscribing. It's totally free, and I have a lot more gorgeous Christmas items planned for this season.